Okay, so in this one here, I'm gonna show y'all how to make some simple but elegant loading screens. I'm not gonna show you how to make the videos though, but I'm gonna show you how to set them up. Okay, so it's pretty much straightforward. Um, right now I just had these buttons set up to hold on, let me get rid of this. I have these buttons set up, and they're all referencing my wonderful button manager script, and these are just here to basically load scenes. What I do personally is I have my loading screens in offshore scenes rather than directly on whatever scene the player is playing on. And that just makes it easier to like say you have a really big scene and you're coming off a really big level, and it could cause performance issues if you was to load another scene, another big scene, while trying to run a cutscene at the same time. It could tax your CPU a lot. It just causes performance issues. So I always switch to offshore scenes for cutscenes, so that way it frees up a lot of space, gives you more room for performance, especially when you're loading another big scene and then all you have running is a cutscene. So it makes it a lot easier, and a lot it's basically just for performance. So um, these basically just load the cutscenes. So that's all these buttons do is load cutscenes. Um, yeah, so this one will load scene one, scene three, five, seven, nine, and I don't know why this is set to six. This should be 11 actually, I believe. I'm gonna show you why. If I go into my build settings, what I like to do personally, I like to keep my scenes in order of how the player will play the game. So, say you go from the menu and you have a cutscene, and then you go straight to the first level. In between the first level and the second level, you got cutscene, the second cutscene, and it goes into that one. That's why it's set to go basically where it is. So yeah, that one should have been number 11. Um, and that's pretty much it for my buttons. So these just load the cutscenes in general, and I keep them in that order just for how I like to do it. That's just like how I like to do it. And plus, when it comes to programming the cutscene, you'll see why in a second. So also, um, I have a lot of scenes in here. We're gonna get to those in a second. These are my multiple cutscenes. That's why I have so many in the build right now, just so I can show you the different ones without having to go in and change them inside each scene. So there's two different types of cutscenes I'm gonna show you how to do. One is the cutscenes where it just plays a logo or plays a video, and then you press a button to continue on to the next area, like some games do. And then you have a different loading screen where it'll just be a looping video. The video will fade out or whatever, and then it'll go into the level it is. That way you don't have to press anything. I have them set as auto and click as you see right here. So um, I'm gonna show you the setup first, and then we're gonna get into the programming portion. So first of all, I just have a really big. Well, it's not really a big scene. It's fairly small. It loads pretty quick, so it's literally just a yeah. That's performance. That's performance. Yeah, it's literally just a whole bunch of cities. It was originally one city, but then I cloned it a good amount of times, and then I cloned it and cloned it again until the scene became hefty. So in the cutscenes, all we have here is one video player. You want to make the camera's background black. That way, when the video changes, it's not really like a bad thing to look at or like a weird background. I always keep it black because that's usually the background in most videos. Um, right here, I don't know why I have this next scene variable. You don't need that next scene variable. Actually, if I come in here, I thought I took that. Actually, no, keep that, but it doesn't need to be public. It doesn't need to be public at all. Okay, so you have the choice between click and auto. Auto is where it automatically goes, and click is where you have the player click a button to go to the next scene. Um, and that's pretty much it. Inside of this cutscene is just a video player. You want to have it play on a wake loop and wait for first frame. Playback speed 1. I keep mine on camera near plane and make sure you drag the main camera in there. You can duplicate this. You want to drag your new scene on there. Um, And that's about it for this whole scene. That's it. That's literally it for a cutscene. Whatever cutscene you have, that goes there. And we're about to go over this script here right about now. And when you do your cutscenes, all you can really have to do is duplicate, 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 and it'll make it a lot easier. All you have to do is come back in here. If you have you want to change your cutscenes, if you have cutscenes, that is. But if you just have loading screens, I usually like to do my cutscenes like if characters are having dialogue and it's a groundbreaking cutscene or something like that. I like to keep mine as videos rather than actual cutscenes to where it's programming involved and maybe you use Cinema Director like I use. Um, Instead of doing that, I like to export mine. I like to take mine, make my cutscene in Cinema Director, record it, and then take it in the After Effects to make a video with special effects and um, different filters and overlays. So that's just how I prefer to do it. And then bringing it here is still another performance thing that I like to do, just a performance tip. Um, so yeah, you just come in here and change whatever the loading is, whether it just be a logo or a little spinny thing in the corner, whatever you want, put that right there. And then whatever you want when it's loaded goes right there. Like I have a pressing key. And this is just loops at the bottom. And this one is just a logo, an old logo I made, and it just fades. Both of those were made in After Effects. Same here. This one just loops here, and then when it's done loading, it burns off. Two pretty simple things. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to get into the scripting. First, you want to use scene management, and you also want to use video. These two. You're gonna need both of those. The transition type. This is just so you can pick which one. If you don't really need to have a transition type. I just keep it in here just so I can show you the difference. So you're gonna make you a little public enum. Really don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm pretty sure it's enum. I'm pretty sure it's enum. And then you want to have your public transition type transition. So you're gonna need to be using async operation, which allows you to load it in based off of real progress rather than basing it off of time or how long you think it's gonna take to load. All systems are different. So somebody could have a bad computer that takes forever to load. They could be running on a toaster, so you don't want to use it based off of a timer. So you want to use async operations. And I just referenced that as AO. Then you're gonna need a video player, of course, and then you're gonna need two video clips. You're gonna need one for when it's loading and one for when it's fully loaded, or you could just have one that's loading and then you could jump straight into the scene if you want, if that's what you prefer. And then you want to grab and enter your next scene. So on the awake function, I just grab the video player because I have the script attached to my video player. And if you want to learn how to if you want to make a video player, you can just come in here, right click, video, make a video player. Simple as that. And then I just drag my script on there. So upon awake, we'll get the video player. And here's what I like to do. Say you have your credits as a cutscene, as I like to do. Um, you can check the scene manager to see what scene you're on, and mine is on. My cutscenes are set on 13, um, based off of the build index, like you see the credits right here. Or, well, yeah, yeah. You could set it to 13, so you could check whether you're on the credits or not. You can also check it by scene name, but that's separate. I forgot how you're supposed to do that. I could actually, let me see. If scene manager dot scene name, I believe there's a scene name, or actually scene count, total number. No, that's loaded scenes. I believe get scene by name. No. I'm not sure which one it is, but there's a way to check which scene you're on by name, I believe. But this is just checking if you're on scene 13, which is my credit scene. I just come in here and like if I add more scenes and I end up at like 50 something scenes, and the last one is 52, then I'm gonna come in here and put 52. So that just checks if you're on the last scene, and then it'll make the next scene that you're going to 0, which is gonna be my main menu. Down here, it just like if you're going to the next scene, I'm gonna just add one to the build index so it goes to the next scene. That's why I have everything in said order. So as soon as you're done with the cutscene, it'll go to the next one. Let's see. And that's pretty much it for the awake function. You're just basically setting which scene is next, and you're checking to see if you're on the credits or not. So if you're not equal to 13, which is my last scene, it'll go to the next scene. If you are, then it'll go to scene 0, which is my main menu. Upon starting the video clip, even though it's already dragged in there, I set the video clip to the loading clip, which is right here. And then you play it, and then you start the coroutine low level with real progress, which is basically just everything that you really are going to need right now. I usually wait a second. I'm not sure why I put that there, but it was for some reason. But you want to wait a second, and you want to um, load the next scene, which is going to be whichever build index. Um, you want to go reference your async, and let me see this, and you want to load the next scene using load scene async. Scene manager dot load scene async. Load scene async, and then you want to put pass the parameter of your next scene, of course. This right here, allow scene activation, basically says whether it's going to go straight into the scene or not. So you automatically want to set it to false. You want to put you a little while loop in here, and basically this says, okay, if the operation is not done, the async operation, which is the loading, is not done, and if the video player is not playing, then play the video, and that'll just keep going until the operation is done. And if the progress is equal to 0.9, which basically means, okay, the scene is loaded, you choose what to do. I have mine as start coroutine done loading, which will come down here and return a new wait for seconds, which will just wait the length of whatever loading screen you have before going to the next one. Because if you have like a small game but you have a really nice loading screen that you want to show off, it'll wait for that amount of time before going to this next function. But back up here, you can, I just prefer putting that there. That way people will see your loading screen, even if it's for like 5 seconds. And then we keep the debug log just to see how far we're progressing in our loading. And then you just want to put the return yield return null. Okay, so further down here you have this one that just waits that clip length. So whatever video clip. And the reason for this is because if you were to check this out, you can't use the clip length as a float unless you put that there. So that's why that's there. That way you can convert the double into a float. And then after it waits the length of the clip, you have your get ready function, which just comes down here, switches the clip that you have in the video player to the one that plays after it's done loading, and then it'll play that one as well. This is where it really makes a difference because these are the two transition types. The auto, it'll go to the wait, which here it'll just say, okay, it'll wait until the video plays because mine fades out, so I want it to play the fade. So the fade lasts about 3 seconds, so it's going to wait that clip length, and then it's going to go into the next scene. But here, hold on, let me zoom in some. But here, with the transition type, if it's a clip, then it'll just wait until you input any button and then go ahead and do that. So it's already switched videos, and then it'll wait until you press something to go into the scene activation, which allows it to switch scenes. So it's pretty much straightforward. It just checks which scene is next, which scene you're on, what transition type you have, whether it's gonna go automatically or if it's just gonna wait for you to click something or respond. Then you can actually set this to a button if you want, rather than you can input dot get key, get button, whatever you want. I just prefer any key. Uh, Other than that, that's pretty much it on how you set it up. Let's see. That's pretty much it. One last little scroll through. One little last scroll through. It's not actually too much. It's actually pretty short. So yeah, just remember if you that double right there, you want to make sure you put that foot there, otherwise it's not gonna work. Now if you come back and I go to my, you want to drag in everything that you had and make sure you have this set to what you want to set to. Unless you just don't want to use the transition type, you can just kind of like take this if statement off. You can take those out, and you could just basically, rather than saying all of this, you can put whatever you need right there. If you have this, you can just like say if you didn't want it to be a auto, you always want it to be a click, you can just say um, you can actually just pull this and put this in here, and that's it. That will be, you wouldn't need any of this if you're just gonna have them click. But I want people to see the loading screen, so I'm gonna keep mine like this. So we're gonna take this back. Going back to the main menu. Let's get right here. When you hit play, if I hit default, which is my click one, the only click one I have. Hold on, let me actually undo that real quick. Stop, 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 stop. Okay. Let me bring up the console so we can see that progress. It's gonna, like, for mine, it's gonna automatically jump because running OBS is just gonna freeze for a second and then load, and it's gonna pop up 0.9. But yours should work perfectly fine to see the increments. It may show up, you never know. But when I hit default, which is my only click one, that's why I named it default, it'll do what it do. So you see the increments went up and you got it faded in the corner. The clip is 10 seconds, so it'll go for that 10 seconds, and then it'll go ahead and switch over to this, which is my second one, and then you could click. That's the beauty of having just a simple logo with a click background, with a black background. That way when it switches over, it kind of seems seamless. So I'm gonna run through that one more time, because it kind of seems seamless. You don't see anything blink crazy or nothing like that. So as you see, it does its thing, fades. On a normal, when I do click it, it'll automatically go ahead and, like, that small freeze is just OBS. Like if I was to click that button regularly, it'll go ahead and just start fading like it normally would, rather than it just kind of popping up. So if you look in here, what was I looking for? Oh yeah, as you see, it's just these three, and you actually don't even need a directional light. So it's just these three, and you have this loading in the background, and when you come in here and click, it'll go to the next one. Oh, okay. So the other ones, you press this one, it'll do the same thing. It'll load, and then when it's done loading, it'll switch, and then it'll burn out, and then it'll go to the scene. That one doesn't have a black background, so when it switches, it doesn't kind of look as neat or crisp as the other one. So that's why you see it kind of blink before doing anything. Let me just double check. I could actually have it so if it's automatic, it'll automatically switch rather than playing. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I have these set up so you can see the different loading screens. I actually clicked two on that one, but for some reason the button is just messing up. This is from an old tutorial that I did a while ago on how to make loading screens. That's like way down. That was like a year and a half ago. So let me move this over here. So if I was to click three, you see it does that little freeze and then it starts loading again. It'll burn and go to the next one. Same thing with four. And the easiest thing to do, like if you see that background that I have on most videos, rather than having a background on your camera, you can actually have a actual background, like whatever I'm using. I forgot which picture this is in the background, but it's best to go ahead and save whatever background it is while you're making it, so that way you can have that seamless loop. Unlike mine, like if I have this background, when it blinks, it'll just change the photo rather than, well, not change the photo, but it will just burn rather than um rather than it going black. You could actually have the background of said video. So that's just a suggestion. I wish I had saved that photo. I don't even think I have it anymore. It will go back. Come on. Work with me here. Okay, there you go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just like whenever you switch scenes, whenever you're done, after you're saving, or actually you can save in these scenes. One of my old scripts called a save function while it was loading. You can do that if you want to put it on the cutscene or whatever scene was before the cutscene. You can just go ahead, grab this part, grab this little function, call it, and then you're done. Like you'll load into the next scene, you load your cutscene, it'll load in the background. It'll make it smooth, you know. And that's pretty much it for loading screen. It's pretty much straightforward, pretty simple, pretty minimalistic because shit. This is barely 100 lines. Like if I was to take out these unnecessary spaces, like yo, it probably wouldn't even reach 100 lines. Like go ahead, take some of these out. Like barely 100. So I just prefer to keep those spaces because I like my spaces. Like my space. Shoot, I've had 800 line codes. So this is one of the shorter ones, one of the easier ones. Really easy to implement. So yeah, do what you want with this, man. Get real creative with your loading screens, and um, I look forward to making future tutorials. Next up, I think I'm gonna show some parts on how to make an animated main menu. Like I don't think I've done it before. Well, I haven't, but it's part of one of my old projects. So I'll probably pull one of those up and show how I went about making that one with the timing and the UI and everything. So until then, shit. Till then, subscribe, stay updated. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be posting soon. Be posting. So go ahead, check that out so that you could get more tutorials and stay up to date on Unity things. I'm out.